Hello. I think all my connections are up and going. Want to make sure I get started early today. Hello. I think all my connections are up and going. Want to make sure I get started early today. Hello. Okay. Think all my. So it looks like um, YouTube is ready to go. Good morning. Good morning, Shantae.
Good morning. How are you?
Wonderful.
Oh, I love your lipstick color. It's beautiful.
I just got it and I'm like trying it out and I'm like,
I think it's really cute. I like it.
it's not bad at all. Not
Mm-mm. Pretty.
yeah, I think I'm gonna wear it later on again. I think I am. How are you feeling today?
Oh, I'm just feeling so blessed. I'm so happy. I was excited for class and
Yeah.
yeah.
Stop it. So anything I want to make sure that you guys know that anything that comes up for you guys during this session, I want you guys to on mic and share, or if you have any further thoughts or question, that is welcome. That is open.
Thank
That is
you.
that is definitely open. And this is like the day before 4th of July. I'm here in Miami and they said it's gonna be raining.
Oh no.
It's gonna be raining, so some of my friends were gonna do some barbecue, and that's been canceled. So
Oh.
I was like, "Gosh darn it! Now I gotta cook." I had to cook, and my mom is like, "Whatever you want to do." And I'm like, "I guess I'll do some barbecue. Help the husband and get
Yeah.
something on the grill out there and do something nice. But it's not gonna be, gotta do it when it's not raining.
Mm-hmm.
Have to track it. But yes, 4th of July, long weekend coming up. I'm sure everybody's excited and ready for that. So, thank you for being here on time and early with me, Ante, because I do have a few things scheduled today. So, I want to make sure that we get in here early on time and we get all the juices that we can get out of this week. We are halfway through. Like, this is a 6 week, it's 6 weeks, right? I think it's 6 weeks. It's a 6 week course, and we're in the third week. And today we're talking about mastering that inner critic. That inner critic. We're talking about self-management. And I'll tell you right now, this is one of all the components of emotional intelligence. This one, not a lot of people like this one because a lot of people can't control themselves or choose not to control themselves, right? So welcome to week 3, unlock your leadership potential with emotional intelligence. You've done the brave work of self-awareness, and self-awareness, if you don't not interested in looking at yourself and really figuring out your blind spots, you're not gonna like self-awareness either. But self-awareness is soft, it's kind. It says look at your good, bad, and ugly and love it anyway. And lovingly shows you how to improve that, right? Not criticizing yourself, not putting yourself down in here, not allowing yourself to be sad because you messed up again or because you made a mistake. It's lovingly nudging you along, helping you to make that decision with improving your understanding of life. So now it's time for you to put that awareness into action, right? This week is all about self-management, but not in a like a robotic way, suppressing your feelings in any type of way. No, 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 no. Nobody ain't got time for that because not all the time can you control that, right? But what you can do is try to get ahead of it, right? So we're talking about emotional maturity. Um, yes, we're talking about emotional maturity and learning how to pause with power, choosing how to respond, and quiet the voice in your head that says you're not enough. And that's what we're talking about. Hi, Naya. Thank you for being here. So, Michelle, hi.
Hi.
Hi. How are you?
Good.
Yay. I was telling Shantae that because for those that are you guys are here live on TikTok, but I also have those that signed up for the course on Zoom private session where they get all of the extra stuff. And I did tell Shantae, and I want to make sure that I tell you as well, Michelle, and the rest that will be joining, that throughout the conversation, if anything comes up for you, you want to share something, you want to unmic, you want to put something in the chat, don't feel any type of way. This is it. If something comes up and you have a question or you want to whatever further discuss, definitely feel free to share and let me know so we can make sure that you get what you need if something comes up for you personally and or professionally, right? So you can't always control what happens around you. And we talked about those 5 M's and the 4 things that you can control. We talked about that last week, right? And quickly, we talked about the 5 M's was, manage and control your mouth, your mood, your money, your mind, and your manners, right? And then we also talked about the 4 things that you do have control: how you speak, what you feel, what you think, and how you act. So just to kind of bring it all home, emotional intelligence says it's okay for you to have these things, have these feelings, and feel this way, right? So, but you can control what happens within you. You can't control what people do around you. Don't try to control other people, because every time you do, you will fail. Every time you will fail, right? And it's going to disappoint you and you're going to be sad about it. So don't try to control what happens. I remember when I was in high school, I used to have this boyfriend. I used to have this boyfriend that I was a church girl and he was a bad boy, those, but the pants under the butt and the earring and the gold teeth and everything. Yeah. And I try to force a situation with trying to force him per se to be something that he wasn't. So he came to church, and after a while I was like, you need to get saved. So eventually I figured out, I learned with that relationship. It was like a 3-4 year long relationship. um and I figured out that it's never in anybody's best interest, and definitely not in yours, to try to control what other people want, or what if it's not natural, innate for them to want to do it. Don't try to waste your time doing it, because what happens is that they will resent you for it and they're going to blame you, and then they're going to do it for you and not for them. And then when that happens, they don't stick with that, whatever it is that you're trying to get them to do, right? They don't stick with it. They don't stay, right? They don't do it. It doesn't last. So with whatever and whoever it is that you have in your life, just think about it in that way. And relationships, friends, like all of these type of people that you have in your life, never ever lean towards trying to control the situations. And I know, because in the workplace, one of my first jobs was, as a manager, I was a micromanager, and that did not serve me, but it was definitely a learning process for me, which I loved, right? So this week we're talking about managing your emotions without suppressing them. We're talking about overcoming that negative self-talk and silencing the inner critic, and I call them the inner family, the family critics, the family members that won't stop talking up here, right? We're talking about cultivating that mindset that is resilient and lets you allow you to be focused and kind to yourself and the people around you, and then building a discipline around that, right? So every time it happens, what am I going to do to help get myself out of that situation, right? Because let's be real, You can have the degrees, the positions, the strategy, the vision. You can have everything on your list ready to go. But if you don't learn to lead yourself through stress, through self-doubt and setbacks, leadership will drain you instead of developing you, right? It's going to drain you. If you can't get a handle on what's going on inside of you, what happens outside of you will always, bring you down or make you feel some type of way, right? So if anybody wants to share an experience that you have, Michelle, you said 100% in the chat. I welcome you guys if you want to share in the chat, or you want to on mic and share an experience that probably came up for you like I just did. But if you want to share it on mic, an emotionally intelligent moment that you had this week or last week since we've been having these conversations, I'll make sure I hold that space for you guys. While you guys think about it, let me give you one that happened to me this week. I realized that I was withdrawing from a certain person, a relationship, that I love, a person that I love and I cared about, and I realized that I was withdrawing from them, and not to that relationship, it got hurt, and trying to after we talked about it and settled things and kind of got at a baseline, it doesn't, so far the relationship hasn't gone back to what it used to be, and I don't think it can, because we both have grown quite a bit, right? So the person that we used to be, 10 years ago, 15 years ago, we have the perspectives are different, the experiences are different. It's not, we're not 100% on that same path, but I still don't want to lose the relationship. So I realized I was withdrawing from it. So what I did, and it was uncomfortable. I kind of got a little bit uncomfortable, because I know that I'm like, bummer, man, it's not how it used to be. And I wish it can be how it used to be, but it's not, right? And that's okay, right? Not all relationships are going to be reconciled where we're best of buddies and we're calling every day and talking, and that's fine. It's just that now you have to change your mind. I have to change my mind around what it is now, right? And it took some getting used to. So what I did is that I decided to come out of that comfort zone that I was in of withdrawing from her, and decided to reach out. I reached out and I sent a message, and I simply said, "Hi, haven't heard from you in a while. Hope you're okay. Please let me know when you're in town so we can, get together." And I felt good after I did that, right? Because again, it's a relationship that I want to keep, right? And though it may not go back to the way it used to be, it's fine. I had to be able to, I have to be able to, I had to tap into that uncomfortableness that I was having as it relates to that, and reach out, because I haven't, reached out in, 4 or 5 months. So anybody wants to share any? I want to make sure I hold space for you guys. Okay. So here's a quote by Byron Katie that said, "Don't believe everything you think." Ah, he said, "Don't believe everything you think." What do you guys think about that? That voice in your head, it's not always telling the truth.
The only thing I came up with, which is more funny, was like, who are you going to believe, me or your lying eyes?
Oh, 100%. So it's you gotta be able to look at both, look at all the different perspectives. So let's take a deep breath. Because now we're gonna, we're gonna talk about those three people. We're gonna talk about those three people that we have going on, the three family members we have up here that we need to get a hold of. We need to understand what they want from us and how we can and how we can settle them all, right? So everybody can be happy with each other. So let's, we're going to learn how to calm the chaos, rewire that those critics, and then let's step into the most grounded, focused, emotionally resilient version of you. So here goes. You have three critics, and we're going to talk about, and you guys probably heard of these before. If you haven't, this will be your first time. So we have you guys heard of the lizard brain? The lizard brain. You're like, "Oh, that's your lizard brain acting out again." If you guys have heard that, there's that comes from somewhere. And there's articles all about this. The person that I most recently heard talking about this is Russell Brunson. And um and so, hi Michelle. Beautiful. So inside all of us there are three powerful characters influencing our every decision. Every decision we make, whether we realize it or not, whether you agree with it or not, it's happening. Right? It's happening, right? So the first person we're going to talk about is the lizard. The lizard primitive brain. And the lizard is a part, the part of the brain that's the bottom at the end, but it's at the bottom, right? Right at the end of your limbic system, right? This is your primitive, right back here. And that's called your primitive. Let's call when you think of the lizard, think of the lizard as he's your protector. He's trying to protect you, right? The lizard's job back here is to protect you, keep you safe from avoiding change or taking any risk or anything that's unfamiliar and uncomfortable. When I had to reach out to my friend, that was uncomfortable for me. Right? So I got that uneasiness. But I know that was my lizard brain trying to keep me safe. No, don't do it. I don't want you to feel bad. You don't know what she might say. You don't reach out. Let her reach out first. It was talking to me back. So I had to kind of silence that voice. So the lizard says, don't do it. Stay small. What if you fail? What if he doesn't like you as much as you like him? What if this relationship is over? You don't even know it. So that's what your lizard brain is saying to you. And the lizard's motivation is fear. He's trying to protect you from a fear standpoint. So the fear comes up because he's trying to protect you. Your ego. He don't want you to feel bad. Your survival instinct. So how that lizard how that lizard impacts your leadership, that leadership of whether you're a leader of people or a leader of yourself or a leader of your home, it holds you back because it says, what ifs? It's a bunch of what ifs. What if this? What if that? Self-doubt. That is your inner critic. And that lizard is right back here. Right back here talking to you. That's your limbic system. Right? So I'm going to share with those that are here on Zoom a picture of so you guys can see the little lizard and all of them and how annoying they can be. How annoying they can be. So as my system get together here. So the other one that we're going to talk about is the elephant. So it's the lizard, the elephant, and the monkey. So the elephant is your emotional subconscious. That's where our emotional intelligence is. And that's the one that when you speak about emotional intelligence, we're speaking to the elephant. And the elephant is right here, up here, right back here, but on top. So it's on top of the limbic system, right? The lizard is back here, reminding you of your self-doubt. The elephant is up here saying, whatever happened in the past, that may happen again. So it follows the story or patterns of what happened over time. So it's quiet, but it's powerful. It feels more than it speaks. Think about that. The elephant feels more than it speaks. So those emotions that you have that, oh, I can't believe I can't go or can't do this. The feelings feel so deep. You feel like you could die right now, right? Those feelings are so strong, right? But the motivation of the elephant is to say it's habits, emotional pattern, stored beliefs, limiting beliefs. Last year, remember last year when you went on that stage? You almost tripped and you didn't do it. Don't do that, top girl. You might trip again. That job you want? No, don't do it. They say they're going to give you that money, but they ain't. You know, these jobs be lying. Don't take that job. Don't take that promotion. No, remember that first job you had? That manager said you were going to amount to nothing. So
Can
that
you say this is where trauma comes from?
because this is exactly, it's reminding you of something that happened in the past that's holding this. You can't do that again. You can't do that again. It's reminding you of the patterns. So it's like, so consider the elephant as facts. Like this is factual and it's real, right? Because it did happen, right? You did have, unfortunately you were raped. Unfortunately, your mom did leave you. Unfortunately, your dad did say that you were no good. Unfortunately, your sisters did disown you. Unfortunately, you remember all of those relationships and all those things that happened? Girl, you don't want to get into another relationship. You don't want to do that. That man, he left you. He took everything you had. No, you don't need to get into another relationship. Don't do it. Don't do it. So it's reminding you, and it brings you, and it's perfect, right? Because every time you're getting ready to you want to level up or do something different or do something new, it says, no, but remember, it drives most of your decisions automatically. And that's why I love emotional intelligence so much, because it forces you to see all of these people talking and you being aware of what they're saying, you can get ahead of it. So based on how you felt about a particular thing or a particular situation in the past, it leads with emotional memory. So that emotional memory, whatever that trauma was, it's going to bring it to you. I don't care what I don't care what it is. It's going to remind you of it because that's its job. That's the elephant's job. That is your emotional subconscious brain right there. Right? Okay, so you got the limbic system, the lizard down here telling you, nah, what ifs? So you got the elephant up here saying, nah, remember when? And now we're going to the monkey. The monkey this is what you think you know up here. This is your conscious mind. This is your prefrontal cortex, right? And the job of the monkey says, thinks, plans, asks questions, help me move forward in faith, right? This is where you want to develop and grow. This is where It's telling you, be curious. What's possible? What can I make this? What if I can make this work? What if I do leave my job and my products do sell? Oh my gosh, my life can really change. Growth, logic, curiosity, growth. That's your monkey. And then think about it. If you think about it, you're like, oh, that's the good part then. That's the part that works. But think about it. If you only listen to this and you just go for that shot, then you, instead of investing $500, maybe you should invest 200 and let's start slow and see how it goes, right? Right? So your monkey brain is saying, you can do it. You can do it. But if think about it, if you just go with me, I'm an emotional buyer. If I just go with what I'm feeling in the moment, I will buy everything in that store, right? And walk out with all kinds of credit card debt. Right? So I can't listen to this monkey here all the time, right? You can't listen to the monkey. I gotta. I'm like, okay, lizard, you're right. Maybe you're right. Maybe I shouldn't do that right now. Maybe I should just do 100 today, and then let's see how that works out, and then next month I'll do another 100, and just go that way, right? So you need all of them. You need all of them because all of them are reminding you of something that happened and how you can move forward, right? You need your past to be able to decipher. Hold on here, you guys. You need your past to be able to decipher how you're going to move forward in your future. I mean, there's no getting around that, So how do they all work together? Imagine facing a big opportunity, a public speaking event, a promotion, launching your first product, or your boss gave you authority to work on that, on that leading that project, or you're getting a full scholarship. You've been selected to get that prize, that award, and maybe even giving feedback, right? So that lizard brain says, don't do it. You might embarrass yourself. Don't embarrass yourself, girl. Let's stay right here in this house. You you don't want to stay here in this house? You want to get a bigger house? No, stay in this apartment. Stay with your mom. Your mom wants you to stay here. I mean, you're only 25. You can stay here with your mom. It's comfortable. Maybe that's okay. Right. But do you still want to do you see yourself living with your mom, or see yourself doing playing small at age 40, at age 50, 60? Where do you see yourself? Right. And the elephant says, this reminds me of that time that you failed to do this. So it says, you're going to start it, but you ain't going to finish it. That's what you always do. Don't embarrass yourself, girl. Boy, stay where you are. Stay with your mom and just, let's see how that works out. Right? So you don't want to try anything, outside of that comfort zone because you want to stay there. And then the monkey says, what if this works out? And what can we learn from it if it does? So that's that hope. There's logic, right? And you want all of that. You want all of it. But at the same time, what happens when you don't, when you listen to one over the other? You need your past, that lizard brain down here, the lizard brain down here to tell you, yeah, don't remember fear. You got to make sure you tread lightly, at least tread lightly, right? And then the elephant up here reminds you of the time when. So it wants you to go down this is what she always does every single time she is pushed to the mat and it's time for her to level up. You always go down, you always do this. So you're going to always do that. right? And then the monkey, yeah, I know you always do that, but what if today you did something different? What would happen if you did something different, right? So let me show you guys the picture. I said I was going to show you guys the picture. I want to show you guys the picture. Hold on, make it bigger here for you guys so you can see it. Okay, I'm going to share. Yay. Okay, can you guys see this? Yes? Yeah, okay, cool. So those that are in the class can see where I'm sharing how where the different the metaphorical model of the three family members, where the conscious mind is that monkey, and he tries to think, he thinks that he's driving. You see how he's on top of the on top of the elephant? He's like, yeah, I got this. I got this. I'm gonna get on top of this elephant and I'm gonna take him where he needs to go. But if you realize that the elephant, which is that unconscious, that's where your emotional brain is, it says, yeah, you may be sitting on top, but I'm the big body that's taking us here, there, and everywhere. So you see, the biggest person out of all of them is your emotional brain, your subconscious. The subconscious is that person. This is how, is an example of it for you. Like you have a job, and you've been driving like 40, it takes you from to get from home to your job 40 minutes. And every day you've been doing this for the past 3-4 years. It doesn't matter. And I've every single time I had to drive from my job to home and from home to my job, they've been days where I don't even remember where I don't even remember how I got there.
Yeah.
Have you guys had that experience?
Yes.
That's your unconscious brain took over. He said, yeah, we always do this road. We always go down through here, right? So the lizard brain said, yeah, 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 we always go down there. That we don't need your conscious brain to be a part of this conversation because we always take this road. You see that? And just like how it figures that out for you, imagine the decisions that you make in your life without even knowing what's driving, who's driving. Uh, all the decisions that you made, good, bad, and different, family members, boyfriends, girlfriends, mom, dad, all of those three family members, when you made those decisions, who was taking the lead? That's crazy, right? Like, who was taking the lead? Right? And then inside is the lizard brain right in there saying, yeah, you guys can be on top and you can walk, elephant, you can take us there. But at the end of the day, y'all ain't going nowhere without this a little bit of fear. And when you got fear, you go nowhere. If you allow fear to take over, because fear is okay. Fear is our friend, right? Remember, that lizard brain is your protector. He's trying to protect you. He don't want you to get hurt. Baby boy, baby girl, he don't want you to get hurt, right? So he's going to constantly remind you of your fears. So the question is, are you going to allow him or her to continue to lead you? Or are you going to allow your limiting beliefs, all your past family trauma, all your friendship trauma, all your workplace trauma, all your church trauma, are you going to allow them to hold you in the place that you are in? You have to make a decision. And that's what this conversation is. That's what self-management is. Once you understand who is running the show, you get to decide who gets the mic. Because not everybody, all three of these, you have to decide who gets the mic, right? And in order for you to decide that, you need to know what all of them want. Where are all of them what, what's the thought process behind all of them, right? And now that you know that, now you can move in that direction, right? So what you must do as a leader is recognize when the lizard is reacting from fear. What you would do with the elephant is tune in to that quiet pull of the elephant and challenge those old emotional patterns. Yeah, I'm uncomfortable, but this is an opportunity for me to grow. And maybe it is time for me to have that conversation with my husband, with my mom. I'm gonna just tread lightly and start with love, and maybe it is okay. So this has been on my mind, my heart for years. And I think I should talk to her about it, or talk to him about it, whatever that is, right? So you listen, you have to listen to all of them to know what they want and what they're stopping you from doing. And then that monkey brain, that let the monkey guide you into conscious growth-based decisions, inform-based decisions. When I realized that the story I said in the beginning with my boyfriend when I was in high school, when I realized that this was not something for him, that he didn't want this life, I had to make a conscious decision to walk away. I had to do that. And it was hard because I was comfortable, to be honest with you. I was comfortable, right? Because he had the car, and he was like in 11th grade and I was 9th grade. So you guys know, I was like, yeah, I got a boyfriend with car and you guys don't. So I was like showing off. So you guys have to decide what that is for you. You guys know how it is in high school. Like there's competition all around all the time. So every time you face that challenge, all three of them show up. The key is you have to decide who is going to get the mic to listen. You have to let them, okay, you can have the mic. Okay, I hear you. I hear you. I hear you. Yeah, lizard, I got you. And then you give the mic to the elephant. Oh, okay. Maybe, yeah, maybe there's some point there. I get it. I do have a history with this person, and maybe it is time to address it. And then the fear says, yeah, but it's going to be uncomfortable. The lizard says it's going to be uncomfortable. Yeah, it's going to be uncomfortable, but it's going to continue to be uncomfortable if I don't address it. Right? You got to address it. So here's how to guys, so I want you guys to figure out when you have that trigger. There's 4 stages I want you that you're going through. When you have that, so start tracking your triggers. If you haven't started already, think about what triggered you. What triggered you? And then, so the question is, when I say what triggered you, is an example could be, she called me, we were talking, and for some strange reason, she didn't like what I said, and she hung up the phone on me. That triggers me. That made me feel like disrespected. Or if you have a team, in the workplace, a team member didn't follow through on an important deadline that we agreed on weeks ago. She didn't follow through. This is the 3rd time she did it. She keeps on not seeing through her end of the bargain. And I felt when she did it, overlooked, I felt disrespected. Now, in that moment, I want you to assess what emotions are coming up for you in that moment.
Yeah, it's to what, November, I think.
What emotions are coming up for you? Is it frustration? Because it would be frustration. It's, is it self-doubt? Is that inner voice start telling you, maybe you're not leading as good as you thought you were? Maybe you're not as good as a leader as you thought you were. Then the shame starts whispering, you should have seen this coming. A great leader would have seen this coming. Right? And then the next question is, What did you do in that moment? It triggered you, that you assess what emotion is coming up for you, then what did you do in the moment? What did you do? I shut down emotionally. I kept it professional on the outside, and then I withdrew on the inside. I didn't speak in the moment. I avoided it. I pretended it didn't exist. I pretended I was fine. I decided to call the husband and vent to him. I decided to call my mentor and talk to her. I waited until I had to leave work, and when I got in my car, I screamed. That's how mad I was. What did you do in that moment, right? And then what could you do next time to manage it better? So those are the 4 questions that I want you to think about. What could you do next time? And the next time would include something like pause. Definitely pause. Pause and check in with your emotion. You know, whatever that frustration, whatever it is, pause and check in with you and see how you feel about whatever is happening. And then pivot. My internal narrative is not going to be, they don't respect me. It's going to be, this is a great opportunity for me to kind of re-clarify my expectations and boundaries as it relates to her role. Set up a meeting. So I can talk with her next week. You see, you're not putting, oh, me, oh, I did something wrong. You're saying it's not an internal narrative. It's not, and this is, I talked about this on my podcast yesterday, that what other people do, their reactions to you, is not your responsibility. You are responsible for you, right? I covered what to do, what emotionally intelligent people do when they're disrespected. And what they say, what they do, that's a reflection on them. Your reaction is a reflection on you. So you have to decide. You have to decide. Right? And so you pause, you pivot, and then you proceed from there. You pause and check in with yourself, you pivot, and do that internal narrative, right? It's not, oh, me, it's not what I did. They don't respect me. No, this is a great opportunity for me to get with her and kind of reassess how the expectation that as it relates to her role, and set those boundaries, right? And then you proceed with being grounded, being clear, conversation with curiosity, not blaming, no blaming. Because that's what emotional intelligence does really well. It shows you that you make mistakes, you have blind spots, and so does everybody else. So does everybody else. You know that quote that says, everybody is going through their own battle. Everybody has a fight that you have no idea of, because it's true. It's not only external world fight, but it's internal world. And if you are having trouble with your 3 family members up here, imagine other people. Imagine other people. People have a lot of stuff going on with them, right? And it's stuff sometimes they bring on themselves, and it's stuff that just got inherited, right? And if your stuff is cakewalk compared to theirs, count yourself blessed. Count yourself blessed, right? What did Les Brown says? I always say this. He's like, either you're in a problem right now, you're going into one, or you're about to go. You're coming out of one. You're in one, you're about to go in one, or you're coming out of one, right? So you got to decide for yourself, right? And so I want to, as we wrap up here now, I want to leave you guys with a really beautiful, I finished reading Michelle Obama's book a couple weeks or a month ago, and I I had I had chat help me, my friend chat, my friend chat GBT help me create a really nice poem for you guys to kind of help you as you become, right? Michelle Obama's book, Becoming, like you're always changing, you're always growing, right? And you leaving space for yourself to do just that, right? And loving yourself through it. So I want to say these words I'm going to say. I want you to repeat them out loud to yourself, wherever you are, whatever you're doing. So that way you can remind, and just the act of this is going to empower your next steps, right? Just the act of it. So here we go. It's short, sweet, to the point. So here we go. It says, you can repeat out loud after me in your own way, wherever you are. I lovingly manage my emotions with grace and compassion. I am safe to feel. I am wise enough to pause. I am strong enough to choose differently. Each breath I take is a new beginning. I release the need to react from fear or pain. I respond from a place of peace, power, and presence. I'm going to say that again. I like that last line a lot, so let's repeat that last line again. I respond from a place of peace, power, and presence. The voice in my head is shifting. The voices in my head is shifting. It no longer shames me. They no longer shame me. They shape me. They no longer attack me. They awaken me. Every trigger is a teacher. Every emotion is a message. And I am the keeper of my calm. I walk through my days grounded, centered, and emotionally sovereign. Even when the world feels loud, I return home to myself. This is how I lead. This is how I rise. This is how I honor myself. It's nice, right? I think it's nice. So,
Can we get a copy of that?
yes, I'll send this to you guys. I'll
Please.
send this to you guys. Absolutely. Thanks. Yeah, thanks for asking, Michelle. So happy 4th of July, beautiful people. I hope that you got something today. Some thoughts, some notes. I'll send you guys the homework. I think I sent the homework like day after yesterday or something like that. And I still have to send you guys your EQ individual assessment results from my perspective that I want to share with you guys. So thank you for giving me some grace to kind of get that to you guys. And before these 6 weeks are up, hopefully you get a chance to do that 360 EQ assessment with someone else that you know, like, and trust, so that way you can see the gap of when you took the test and what they're saying about you. And then those are the areas, right? Because the more perspective that you have, the better it is, right? And again, it's not going to be easy because you're leaning into something that is uncomfortable. But it's a growth area, right? And we already know that it's growing us to make us better. So happy 4th of July. Thank you for joining today. Remember, your emotions are human. Leadership is emotional. So lead with emotional intelligence. I'll see you guys next week, Friday, right? Because we're going back to Friday now, and it's for the next 3 weeks until we're done. It's going to be for the next Fridays at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And we're going to talk about social awareness, that other third part of emotional intelligence, and leading with your heart, right? Yes, thank you so much, Shantae. Yes, happy 4th to all of you guys. And take care of yourselves. And one love. Peace be with you.